I mean, share on your YouTube. Okay, somebody else just came in.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello there, Kavana. Hey, I'm about to minimize you. I'm gonna bring you up in about 10 minutes, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello there, Kavana. Hey, I'm about to minimize you. I'm gonna bring you up in about 10 minutes, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I gotta find that screen. Here we go.
There we go.
Okay. Mr. Cows, how you doing, sir?
Man, I'm good enough, bro. How y'all doing, man?
Good. Hello.
Brother man.
Rushing to get here.
Welcome to the Real Man Talk Show, where we talk about problems and solutions, and we got a hell of a show today for you today. Gentlemen, what's up? How y'all doing today, man?
I'm good, brother. How about yourself?
Man, I'm pretty good. I can't complain, man. I've been trying to push my workouts this actually last 10 days. So I'm now feeling it towards the end of the day.
Well, brother, I need to get back on the same cycle as you. Unfortunately, I've been slacking, so put on some shorts this morning that shouldn't have been tight, and they was a little tight. So I got to get back on it.
Hey, I've been listening to I was sharing with Brother Cows. I was listening to this book called Atomic Habits. And Atomic Habits has actually been helping me change some of my bad habits. That's why I've been able to get up. One of my issues, as y'all know, I go to bed too goddamn late. So I've been making a conscious effort to get into bed before midnight and usually sleep by 1 and back up by 8, which gives me time to go and work out. So it's really been helping me doing that, as well as just making myself go. So I don't got no problem working out. It's just making myself go. So making myself go, I've been going there and been able to get things done. And now I'm working on some other things.
Well, I agree. That's my thing. I don't mind working out. It's just that getting up and getting it and going, getting started.
Right.
Yeah, I'm the opposite.
You're the opposite?
I can get up, but doing it, so getting up is easy.
Right.
I'm always up. But go do that? No. That's a struggle.
Let me ask you about I had an interesting conversation with a person I shop with. One of the business owners. We were talking about the governor opening up things too early. And matter of fact, actually that question was proposed to me in one of my Toastmasters meetings, and I was one of the people that responded to it. And the more I think about it, it is kind of a hard position to keep the government closed, as well as stop people from possibly getting the COVID. Because one way, I think we talked about last week, either you can die from the economic crisis or you can die from the COVID. And we talked about a lot of people in regards to this COVID, man, are dealing with other stressors. I think our therapist and international author talked about that. A lot of people is becoming more suicidal. They're picking up more drug habits, or those that probably got away from drugs is coming back to drugs. And as well as abuse is on the rise. So I wanted to ask y'all what y'all think about that, because now I think about it, I don't think it's an easy position. At first I was like, no, we don't need to open up the government, but a lot of people's livelihoods depend on a job, and if you're not getting paid, you can't take care of your family.
Yeah. Me personally, I agree with you. It is a hard position to be in because how can you justify keeping the economy closed when by far it's hurting more people in that aspect and causing a a reciprocal effect just down the line.
Right.
Daddy's not working, mama's not working, the kids can't get taken care of like they properly do. The rent is not getting paid, utilities are not being paid. So now you turn into a situation where I'm not able to feed my kids, pay my rent, or pay my utilities. So I don't have no choice. I have to go back to work. Or like the city of Tulsa, they laid off or furloughed several of their city employees because right now they don't have no revenue coming in, enough revenue to cover all the employees. So with them having those employees furloughed, things that needed to be taken care of, drain cleanage, park and sewage, that stuff was put on the back burner. So, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Right. Mr. Cowles, what's your thought on it? As well as I know you and I've been talking, you kind of in a unique situation. I don't know if you could talk about it, but some people are operating with business as normal. And I know where you work at, it's kind of a split thing, and y'all provide amazing service, but at the same time, you still got to look out for yourself and your well-being as well as your family. What is your take, man?
As far as the going back to work early, I mean about the government, or
In regards to, do you think the governor is opening up things too early?
Man, again, I think I kind of agree with Sean, is that it's a hard decision. There's so many factors. I just don't know, man, because I think that because I truly believe that once it's open, then there's going to be then the head count or the number count of people getting sick will start to rise again. I mean, I just know that's going to happen. Where I think everybody knows that because of everything is starting to open again, more cases will start to will pop up again. Right now in Texas, I think our numbers are kind of stable. I mean, we're still getting more people, but it's not increasing as it was earlier. But I do believe that in a couple of months or a couple of weeks, more and more people are going to start getting sick again. And it's going to start this whole epidemic or pandemic rather all over again. So it's a hard decision, man.
Yeah, and I would say one thing I don't agree with is the numbers. The numbers is, first of all, the numbers are flawed. And that's somewhat personal opinion, but you can do your own research and figure that out. Our numbers are in Texas has been low, but you got to realize Texas, man, we really ain't had enough testing to even start testing people. So now they've increased testing, the numbers are going up. But that goes with anything. You start doing more testing, of course, the numbers go up because now you're testing more. But I think across the board, Texas fares pretty well when you compare it to other states, definitely when you compare it to New York. I think the numbers are pretty good, but I agree with you. I think in a couple of weeks, we may see an increase. And I really still think the numbers are, once again, flawed because I think I got a special guest I'm bringing on. We talked about this. If you go there and just say die of a heart attack, they consider it to be COVID. But once again, that makes the numbers flawed. So you can't really get an accurate number. And because they don't really know nothing about this virus, we don't even know if wearing a mask is even helping because they finding people that haven't even left the house is now getting COVID. So is it in the water? Is it in the air? Is it in the food?
Well, my question to that would be, or adding on to what you're talking about, is the fact that I've seen 2 different news articles where they're saying a gentleman that recovered from COVID-19 is still testing positive for COVID-19 antibodies in his semen. And then I found another one where a woman never had COVID-19, gave birth to a child who then tested for COVID-19. And I'm trying to figure out, how did that occur, or how is that even possible?
Why would they test the baby?
Don't know. All I know is the young lady gave birth. She was not exposed to the COVID-19, was never infected with it, gave birth, and they, for some reason, tested the child, and the child tested positive at 3 days old for COVID-19. So kind of piggybacking off what Hightower was saying, how is it that they're able to test in these variables that don't make any sense to me. I just don't understand it. Why would you even test a child? And if this man did recover from COVID-19, why a couple of weeks later would you want him to give a semen sample and test that for COVID-19? I don't understand that.
Now-
So I don't
now,
understand that.
The semen sample, I don't understand. As far as testing the baby, it makes sense because you can be born and you can be born with not some of the side effects and some of the genetic display as far as science. That's why you see a lot of kids that may come from HIV parents that don't have HIV or have AIDS. So that's the reason why you test the babies, because they may have a completely different antibodies that's not exposed. And
Okay.
that's as far as the scientific. Another thing I want to talk about, man, I noticed, and we've been hearing it in the news, is domestic violence, man. It seems like domestic violence is on the rise and it's increasing. And I can only imagine you not used to being in a house with someone 24, 48, 72 hours, and now you're stuck there. And you probably had issues before then. How things can pretty much turn from good to bad. Have y'all seen that in your areas?
In Tulsa County, they've had a 28% increase in domestic violence calls.
Oh, wow. 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 Wow.
You know, I've heard about it, you know, for about a month and a half now, from different like radio stations have pointed that out. Some news shows has pointed that out, that there has been a lot of domestic violence. In fact, there was about a month ago here, there was a guy that ended up killing his wife out of the whole argument with his wife. He killed his wife. And then, so it's like, it is on the rise. And I actually meet with people and they talk about how stressful it is just being in the house with everybody in the house. So it is on the rise.
Have y'all seen that in your area? Wow. Well, with that being said, man, I got a couple special guests, but I got one special guest I want to bring on that has an amazing initiative. And what they want to do is help those who may be suffering from domestic violence, as well as those who may need safe haven. And also have another guest I'm going to be bringing on that actually started her nonprofit. But I want to bring on brother Rashawn, man, who have done a lot, has an amazing story. Matter of fact, I had him on the show about a month ago from Pure Justice. I'm going to let him talk a little bit about his book as well as the initiative they got going on, and see what we can do to help, because it's a lot going on with domestic violence, and a lot is not talked about. You know, sometimes we see domestic violence, I hear domestic violence, we think it's just the women that may be getting battered, but it also is a lot of men, and it's not reported that's part of the domestic violence as well. You also got the LGBTQ community that's part of that. So when we talk about domestic violence, we talking about pretty much, in my opinion, it's humanity. But sometimes I think we only just see it as the woman getting battered, but it's pretty much groups of people that's part of this domestic violence. And a lot of them scared to speak out, don't know how to speak out. And most men probably, you know, ashamed to even speak out. So I want to bring up our special guest, Mr. Rashawn from Pure Justice. Rashawn, what's up, brother?
How's it going, gentlemen? How's it going? Thank you for having me on the show again.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Tell us, since the last time we've seen you, what has been the achievements from Pure Justice? Have we had any testimonies, any improvements, anything worthwhile that came up since I had you on the show last month?
Yes, actually, so we've been working on a couple different initiatives with a few different amazing groups around Houston, you know, so let me give you some updates on what we were doing from last time, because last time we had just started, when you brought me on, we had just started our Pure Justice COVID-19 Community Fund that we raising to assist 50 families. And we were, what were we, about $400 short? And was it Brother Sean?
No, it was Brother Mac.
Brother Mac. Brother Mac finished us off. So that was amazing. So since the last time you seen us, which it's been, we're going on week 8, we have helped 48 families. So every week we've been distributing funds to the community because people have not been able to work, you know, due to COVID, economy shut down. People sitting in the house trying to figure out how they're gonna feed their kids and pay bills and keep the phone on. And, you know, things been pretty rough, you know, which could cause to that, what Brother Hightower was talking about, the domestic violence piece. So we assisted 48 families, but since then, what we did, we actually doubled. So we, instead of trying to assist 50 families, we raised the bar to 100 families. So instead of raising the initial 10,000, we raised it to 20, and we have raised now $17,445, which puts us short $2,555. This initiative is to help 100 people. So, you know, our plan is to keep it going because we don't know how long we are really going to be impacted by everything that's going on. We see the economy is opening up, but everybody's still not able to go to work because of social distancing. So they bring only a particular amount of people back to work, but everybody's not able. Some people been attempting to apply for unemployment, been having issues getting through. People been getting denied due to being business owners or whatever the case may be, you know, so we still working to continuously put funds in people's pocket who need it. We have another initiative that we started since I've been on the show, and we teamed up with Restoring Justice, another local organization, and then we teamed up with a national organization called the Bail Project. And our initiative is bonding people out of jail due to COVID, since Lena Hidalgo kind of got blocked on getting people out of jail.
Yeah, she did.
Mm-hmm. We got a few requirements. It can't be over a $5,000 bond. You know, no family violence, no failure to appears. So the goal is to bring as many people home as possible so they don't be incarcerated behind a minor offense and end up getting a death sentence. You know, and sad but true story, and I'm not going to take up all the time, but it's been people stuck in jail literally for $50 bonds. You know, like I've been telling people this since we started because it tripped me out. And one guy I'm going to remember forever because he was stuck in jail since last August on a $50 bond and just couldn't come home because he couldn't afford it. You know, and if your bond is $50, evidently whatever you done have to be a minor offense. Otherwise, you will not have a $50 bond. You know, you got people stuck in jail for $100 or $500, and you know it's sad because it's like it's a possible death sentence.
You know what's so crazy, Brother Rashawn, is I heard you. But when I actually had the privilege to work with you on that and looked at the names that was working with you, I couldn't believe that people actually was in there for $50 to $100.
Mm-hmm.
And some people been there for 6 to 7 months. And if you know anything about what's going on with the system, a lot of the systems across the country are backlogged when it comes to just getting before a judge. So a lot of these people are sitting there because they can't get before a judge and they don't have the money. So as I was going through the list, it pretty much broke my heart because it was minor offenses. And minor offenses, if it gets you locked up, can change the whole course of your life, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So a lot of these people probably lost their jobs, probably lost relationships.
Absolutely.
Lost a place to stay.
Absolutely.
And even right now we helping, and you know, my girl is still helping, and listen to some of the people she's talking to, they can't even get suitable places to stay, man.
Yeah. So I mean, we hadn't just been bonding people out to release them to the street. Like we bonded people out. We stand in contact with them, you know, like we have resources for people coming home. Like if they having problems at home, we have alternative housing. We have connections for drug programs, or, you know, people who have issues with paying utilities. You know, we have utility resources we share. Like we want to make sure, you know, like you can get back to court, you know, a ride is not a problem. So we've bonded out about 50 people.
Good job. Good job.
We're still working to bring more people home. But the newest project that we're working on, to me, and all of these projects, they are really important. But this one, great initiative from Carvana McLeod that you finna bring on. Actually, she is the founder of Community Empowerment Solutions, and she's spearheading a program to assist people that's been experiencing domestic violence due to COVID-19, because it has been on a rise since people been stuck in the house, not knowing what to do, letting the bills get to them, and like all their inner issues. You know, some people have tendencies to take it out on the people next to them, you know, and sometimes it could get deadly. So we want to assist people with this, and we want to assist as many as we can, but the resources are limited. And I would rather let Carvana come in and give you more.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna let Carvana bring. Matter of fact, let me go on and bring Carvana up so she can talk more about it. Because my question was, how can we help you? But Carvana may already have that answer. So, Carvana, thank you for joining us. And if you could, Roshan, I want you to please introduce her, because I really don't know Carvana. If you could introduce us, talk about the nonprofit project she has, please.
You know, Carvana is a lawyer here in Houston, a respected community member, a member of Pure Justice, runs her own organization called Community Empowerment Solutions. But I think Carvana will have the perfect introduction for herself if you want to.
Go ahead, Carvana, and thank you once again for joining the Real Men Talk. To those on Facebook, thank you for joining the Real Men Talk. We're here with Brother Rashawn as well as Carvana, and we have our special guests, Matt Cowles and Sean Davis. Go ahead, Carvana.
I'm sorry. I just want to say this. You know, like you asked me to introduce Carvana, but I'm just happy to have so many wonderful people around me, like you gentlemen on here, Carvana, you know, Sasha. So, hey, her introduction herself, I believe, you know, she could do it better than I can.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'll tell you what, I'm very grateful to be able to join you esteemed gentlemen and allowing me to come on this platform to talk about something, like you said, Brother Hightower, that affects all of us. It certainly doesn't just affect women. It is a humanitarian issue. Domestic violence is something that affects, that doesn't discriminate. I say that all the time. It knows no socioeconomic or racial bounds or even gender bounds. It affects everybody. And so I am the founder of Community Empowerment Solutions. A really quick story about myself. Like he said, I am an attorney. I'm a former prosecutor. I've served the citizens of Harris County for over 8 years as a prosecutor. And I just recently ran for district attorney. And the only reason that Harris County district attorney, and the only reason that that's really important is because I am using that experience to explain how and why I've been able to create such a robust platform with Community Empowerment Solutions. God gave me the vision to run for district attorney, and I did. And while I was unsuccessful in that run, I was extremely unsuccessful in being able to meet amazing people like Roshan and other community-minded civic leaders to talk about how we can really improve our community. Because it's not about politics, it's really about people. And that is something that I truly believe in. And as a former prosecutor, I have the inside, and defense attorney now, I have the inside scoop on the deficiencies that exist in our criminal justice system and across systems that really disproportionately impact underserved communities and communities of color. And growing up as a child survivor in Acres Homes, which is an economically disadvantaged community here in Houston, I am even more passionate about serving the community, especially victims of violence, because everybody deserves to live, work, and play in a community that is safe. So that's a little bit about me, but most importantly, I'm here to talk about the Empowered Survivor Project. So Community Empowerment Solutions deals with a variety of different issues. And one of the focus areas we have is making sure that we have safe social communities for people. And so the Empowered Survivor Project came about because I believe in restorative justice and providing holistic healing for people who are affected by domestic violence. The statistics show that not everybody is going to engage the criminal justice system when they are abused or when they are a victim of a crime. And so there is a void that is there for victims that needs to be filled. And research also shows that particularly minority communities would rather suffer in silence, as we like to say, versus engaging law enforcement based on our historical distrust of law enforcement, based on what we've experienced as people of color in this community. And so these are conversations that, you know, when I was a prosecutor, when I was a baby prosecutor, we weren't having as much as we are now. And I'm so excited to be able to be at this point in my career to continue to elevate that conversation, because it's very important to point out why we need resources. So just a few statistics that'll probably enlighten everybody. 40% of Black women in the United States will experience some type of intimate partner violence in their lifetime. 40% of Black women will experience intimate partner violence within their lifetime. In 2018, over 12,000 domestic violence cases were filed here in Harris County, and over 60% of those alleged offenders were African-American males. Now, I bring that statistic up because I want to dispel a myth. It is absolutely not the case that Black men are more violent than any other man or any other white counterpart. But it really showed me as a senior prosecutor and encouraged me to be able to start digging into why we are so disproportionately impacted in the criminal justice system with these cases. So I started to peel back the layers and look at the cases, and I found some common trends and commonalities that existed. The Black community specifically is impacted by domestic violence more than other communities, especially majority white communities, because we have a lot of societal stressors that make us more vulnerable to abuse. Lack of education, lack of economic stability, lack of safe neighborhoods, lack of access to resources, lack of transportation. All of these are stressors and societal issues that cause our families to be more stressed, and tensions flare up, and then they exacerbate the situation and they turn into physical abuse. These are not excuses. These are not justifications. These are, this is us understanding why and working to prevent that. So what we do with the Empowered Survivor Project is we take a step back and we look at domestic violence as a public health issue that can, first of all, be prevented. If people have the resources they need and we can remove those barriers, what would our society look like? Would domestic violence go down? Would the homicide rate go down? Well, the research and best practices say yes, it will. But it takes people with like minds and resources to be able to make projects like this happen. And so again, it's very important, and I thank you again for having us, giving us this platform, because we need to support each other. The goal of this project is to support 35 families who have either been impacted by domestic violence during or before COVID-19. We know domestic violence is nothing new. Surely COVID-19 with the increased isolation has just increased domestic violence, as the brother was saying from Tulsa. We've also seen an increase here in law enforcement calls as well. But the Empowered Survivor Project is working with grassroots community organizations and churches and sororities and fraternities to dig down deep into the community and find those people who are not reporting to law enforcement. So our survey and our marketing is targeted to those folks who would otherwise not likely again report, because we know that oftentimes that abused folks don't report until they've been abused at least 5 to 7 times. And many of those folks are people of color. So these are things that we know, and since when you know better, you do better. And so I am excited to be able to take that information and my experience as a former prosecutor and a defense attorney and add to the criminal justice reform conversation by elevating the needs and the impact that violence is having on victims as well as those who are committing the violence. It's time for us to dig into root causes. And so that's what this project is all about. And we've received a grant from the Texas Council of Family Violence to be able to do this work. And I'm just so honored to be able to get the message out there and increase awareness, but also provide solutions, like you said, Brother Hightower, in the beginning, because that's what it's all about.
Thank you, Attorney Cloud. You said something that really just stood out. You said most people don't report it to after 5 to 7 times.
Yes, survivors are often abused 5 to 7 times before they even report it to law enforcement. And obviously some folks don't report ultimately to law enforcement. Domestic violence can start verbally. It can start with words. It can start with, a partner keeping or withholding financial resources from the other, keeping transportation, using the kids as a strategy, using various tactics, and it escalates to perhaps from verbal to a hit or a kick, then for brandishing of a weapon to more physical abuse such as strangulation and unfortunately homicide. So because it is a continuum, we know that a lot of times people don't even realize they may be in a domestic violence situation or what happened to them was truly abuse. And so those times just add up until they finally just can't take it anymore.
Wow. So let me ask you, Attorney Cloud, once again, thank you for joining the Real Man Talk. What can me and my audience do to help and support the community empowerment?
So I think the first thing is, again, we've partnered with Pure Justice because they are our boots on the ground and our voices out there. And so I would ask for you all to do the same. We have a hotline number, and I'm going to make that public right now. If you call 713-370-7490. You will be connected to the Pure Justice line where they are screening and providing survivors with the next step so we can help them.
What's that number again?
713-370-7490. That is the Empowered Survivor Hotline, 713-370-7490. When we share, if you have platforms on social media, we're constantly sharing our graphics and information. Please feel free to reshare those on your platforms as well. And I will tell you, we've had a great response, and about 41% of the respondents who fill out our surveys are men. They are men in heterosexual and same-sex relationships who have been victimized. And while we were very sad to hear that, obviously, we are glad that they're coming forward because these are folks that have never would have responded to law enforcement.
Wow. Well, I want to, oh my God. Let's see. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Well, Attorney Cloud, I want to thank you. Once again, everybody that's watching, if you could go to the channel, like and subscribe and share, as well as I got the phone number on the hotline. I want to make sure I got the correct number, 713-370-7490.
That's correct. And you can also follow us on Facebook at Empower Houston, and on Instagram at Cloud for Texas. We are working very closely with want to work closely with any organization or groups of people who are likewise committed to what we are concerned about, and that's making sure we are empowering communities of color and providing resources to people that otherwise would not receive them to lead healthy and safe lives.
Thank you. Now, can I ask you, Attorney Cloud, do you got another 15 minutes to stick around with us?
Of course I do.
Thank you. I got another special guest I would like to bring on, man, that you got activists, you got community leaders, you got warriors. And this guy's one of the people I would call a warrior because him and his organization are known to go in hot places to get people that's pretty much trapped in abusive relationships and give them to safe havens. Pretty much the organizations y'all have, they would need this organization to help them. So I would like to bring up none other than the commander, Brother Aman Hotep. Brother, are you there? Let's see. Brother Aman, can you hear us? Okay.
Yes, sir, I am here.
Hey, brother, thank you very much for being patient and joining us. How you doing today?
I'm alive, so it's a good day.
There you go. Brother Mon, if you would, man, please share with the audience, man, what your organization do and what we can do to support and help your organization. Because I know you've been recruiting for a while, and y'all do a lot of things that people don't know, but it's very instrumental in regards to the neighborhood and the communities, man.
Yes, sir. My name is Amun Takala Imotepu. I'm the national commander and founder of a tactical unit known as Anubis. And basically, well, we work closely with the Shrine of the Black Madonna. It's kind of a special operations unit. But we also work closely with an organization called Reviving and Restoring Pearls in regards to domestic violence escorts or domestic violence rescues. Done about 9 of those so far. None of them has been very pretty at all. That's pretty much the gist of that. I can't really go into operation and stuff, but we'll do that along with human trafficking rescues or somebody's missing. We don't want to wait on the police because of the simple fact that a lot of the domestic violence cases that we do get, a lot of the sisters say, I say, have you called the police? And they'll say, yes. And what happened? They just said, they just filed a report. They didn't do anything? No. So the first time you got beat up, they didn't do anything. No. The second time? No. Third time? No. My question that I ask is how many times is it gonna take? It could kill you the first time. So I don't have time to wait. If I get a call like that, I go and I ask the sister, are you in fear for your life? She says yes. So okay. I'm also a licensed PPO, my bodyguard. But I say, okay, very well. And I strategize something with Sister Yumiki of Reviving and Restoring Pearls, basically a link up time or meet time. And I let the sister know we're here to help you. We're going to get you out of this situation. Please don't go back, because that's been another harsh norm is when we rescue these sisters, they end up going back.
And based off your experience, why do they end up going back based off some of your experience?
I've heard excuses like, I love him, or they didn't have a place to go, or they haven't been by themselves in a while, so they don't know what to do after that. It's basically a sense of Stockholm syndrome, if you will. You know, whereas the oppressor hurts you so bad that you fall in love with it, and you can't be without it. It feels abnormal for you to be normal and be free of this. You know, when beatings are your normal day of life and nobody's beating you anymore, you're going, what now? And then I'll tell those sisters, well, now you get to be free and not worry about somebody beating you up, you know, or possibly killing you or threatening to kill you or things of that nature. Some of these sisters, I mean, have said, well, when I called you at first, it didn't seem that bad. You know, we was just having a misunderstanding and I wanted to scare him. I'm not a terrorist. I don't want to be some tool that you use to scare somebody with. I'm coming to help you. I'm coming to help you. That's it. You know, but there's been pretty hairy scenarios in regards to domestic violence rescues.
Well, let me ask you,
yes, sir.
How many of these aggressive operations have you did, or how many people have you been able to rescue?
I've done 9 so far. So far as the number, I'd say close to 20 because you're including women and children. Okay. Don't think just because this man beating a woman, he ain't beating the children. Oh, yes, he is. You know, so we rescuing large numbers of people here, trying to get them out of harm's way quickly.
Okay. And once you get these people, are you able to get them the resources they need in regards to shelter, food, and protection?
Yes, that's when I go to Reviving and Restoring Pearls. I cannot go into the operational protocol because I'm also their defense director. Okay. So they have resources available for any sister that's been beaten and needs to leave.
Okay. Okay. In regards to your organization, because once again, I know you're recruiting, how can we help you, man? And how can people reach you? If it's a sister that's out there that's probably in need that want to reach you, how can they go about reaching? Do you have a hotline? Do you have a phone number?
Sure, I can give my numbers. My number is 832-722-8159, or they can send an email to anubiscommander@gmail.com.
Okay.
And that'll probably get the better response.
Okay. So with these women that's usually in trouble, how do they go about, how do they even hear about you? How do they even get your number to even call you?
Well, the way it works is they usually call Reviving and Restoring Pearls.
Okay. Okay.
And then they call me.
Okay.
And we just cross coordinate from there. If I have to have a Jason unit support, I get them. If not, if it's something that I have to do myself, not a problem. If I have to go in with a team, it's not a problem. But I do usually get a full brief.
Okay. Okay. Rashawn, Attorney Cloud, as well as my co-host, do y'all have any questions? Anybody have any inputs?
Yeah.
I just thank the brother, the commander, for what you're doing. I can't tell you how many times we've received calls in the middle of the night about a woman needing to be rescued and be helped, and she did not get support from law enforcement. So I thank you for your work. I did not even know that that was a resource available in the community. And so I'm glad we have been able to connect, and thank you for what you're doing, because it's very important. I started the domestic abuse response team, which is a mobile team of police officers and advocates that work together, that because I believe that law enforcement could be doing more than what they were doing. And so again, I can't thank you enough for that. I just rescued a woman last night. Her abuser was not here. He's out of state. But just even being with her and her 5 children in that space for me was, it was overwhelming, and it was a lot. And so when people know that they have help and somebody to protect them, that's a lifesaver. And just like you mentioned, Restoring Pearls, Reviving and Restoring Pearls, we also have resources as well. So when people call that number, we're not just taking people in and talking to them. We're like them, we're connecting them to resources such as housing and counseling, because ultimately we want them to be self-sufficient and safe.
That's awesome, and homage to you, sister, for your works. It's very needed and greatly appreciated, because especially since the COVID-19 crisis, I sat in my living room one day, and just after the number of calls and after the number of stats and stories that I heard, I just kind of just looked up at the ceiling and said, what makes the flu just make people go crazy? You know, and I get it. It's a form of cabin fever. Okay. You are cooped up in the house with your spouse. You're already not all the way there, already on a friendly level. And instead of you having that opportunity to get out and go away, you have to look at the problem in the face. But the issue is, I tell people, if you have to look at the problem in the face and that face turns violent, you need to go away from it. Period. Our brothers, I've heard many stories like, I didn't want to hit her, but she made me. Nobody can make you hit anybody. I'm great at ignoring stuff that gets on my nerve. I'm great at it. I completely and totally shut down. And I'll walk out of the door, and I don't want to talk to you right now. And that's what I mean.
What was that number again?
Say again?
What was that number again?
My number is 832-722-8159. Now, if your entity's calling, which I'm more I'm grateful for you to access it. If you want to contact, I just say, please text me first so I can lock your number in, so we can have constant communication with each other. Because if it's an unmarked number, you know how that goes. But
Brother Hightower, if I may just add one more thing, and I'm really not trying to dominate the conversation, but this is what I wanted to also add. There are a lot of women in this space doing this work, but one of the main reasons that drew me to domestic violence in the first place, obviously I'm a child survivor. I know I shared that earlier, but when I as a prosecutor, I was drawn to the work mainly because I was seeing the files that would come through my desk. The victims were women of color mainly, but the prosecutors and the advocates and the shelters and the agencies were majority white. And so there was nobody of color in our local community that I felt had a seat at the table to address not only getting these people help that have been hurt, but on a prevention space. And so, and this is not anything that, you know, as Black people, we're used to not having a seat at the table, but what do? We just set another table. And that's what this is. And that's, it's so encouraging because men also have a huge impact and role to play in domestic violence, combating domestic violence. And so as more Black men are making this an issue and are speaking out against it and doing the work and increasing awareness like y'all are doing to help support us in the movement, it is our pleasure to be able to all work together to help our own communities, because nobody knows us like us. And nobody can support us like us. And so I tell people all the time, I am unapologetically Black in this space. And I am so proud to be able to advocate for culturally relevant, specific program that's going to yield a long-term success and empowerment for our brothers and our sisters. And so again, thank you for allowing us to be on tonight.
No, I want to thank you all. Because what you all doing is up there and it's pretty much not talked about a lot. And I think it's been getting pushed to the side. Definitely with Brother Moon, what you're doing is very courageous, man, first of all.
Yes.
Because everyone can't do that. Attorney Cloud, I love everything that you're doing. Pleasure to meet you. I can't wait to meet you in person. And Brother Rashawn, thank you, man, because you're constantly just connecting more and more dots, man. Your organization is growing and you're constantly doing more and more things, man. And I can't say enough about you and Sasha, man. Thank you all for what you're doing, man. And hopefully this platform, this show will actually bring more things together and we can pretty much hopefully decrease, if not help people out there that needs help.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brother Rashawn, you have anything?
No, man, I'm just happy to be a resource for the people and a resource for the resources, because the only way we gonna get something done, we have to be a resource to the people and we have to be a resource to the resources. So, I mean, hey, anybody want to continue to support what we have, you know, thank you for helping us spread the word, but also we need resources. So the more resources, the more work we can do. And we just, we here.
Brother Rashawn, if you would please tell the people in regards to those 35 families that we're trying to help out, if we can, tell them how they can reach you. And to those who probably just want to volunteer and help with Pure Justice, how can they go about reaching out?
If anybody want to help with Pure Justice, if anybody want to become a member or see or look more into who we are and what we do, you can always visit our website. That's purejustice.org, purejustice.org. Everything with the Domestic Violence Empowerment Solutions Project. I'm sorry, you guys. Everything that we're doing with the Bail Project and Restoring Justice is all right on the front page of the website. You know, just visit the website. We have Facebook, any social media platform, just type in Pure Justice. Pure Justice on Facebook, Pure Justice on Instagram, Pure Justice on Twitter. You know, everything that we're working on right now as of today, you know, it's right front page, front center. And, you know, not to be overwhelming, but it's one more program that we have. It's just a book drive for those that's incarcerated in prison that can't come home. We also send books to inmates too. So if you have loved ones that, you know, just you want to send them something, send them a book. You know, you can visit our webpage, get them a book, send me the information. The book will go right out to them. It will be my autobiography talking about my story, you know, and how I was sucked into the system. But yeah, that's how you can reach us, purejustice.org.
Thank you very much, Brother Rashawn. Attorney Cloud.
Again, thank you, everybody. Domestic violence is real. Domestic violence affects everybody. It affects men, women, and as the commander said, it affects children. We have a unique opportunity to be able to support our own folks going through struggles and abuse by working together through the Empowered Survivor Project, providing housing, providing rescue housing, short, emergency, and transitional housing for folks, because love does not hurt. Love does not hurt. And in order for people to be communities to be safe, we have to create healthy people and strong families, and that's exactly what we're doing. And God bless everybody. And if you need more information, like Rashawn said, we streamlined everything. Go to www.purejustice.org. And again, our number is 713-370-7490. Let's be the change that we want to see in the world.
There you go. Thank you so much, Attorney Cloud. Greatly appreciate it. Brother Moon.
Yes, sir.
Last words.
Love your family with all your heart. And if your situation is so bad, if it's so bad that you have to get physical with somebody you love, learn to love at a distance. I'd hate to have to come rescue you, or I hate to have to come rescue somebody from you. You know, we have enough enemies. They're pale-skinned people. You know, I don't want to go down. You know, Ray knows my whole list. But they're pale-skinned. We already have a pale-skinned enemy. We don't need more black enemies. We got plenty of them. Okay. So with that being said, the closest thing to you should not be in fear of their life. Your woman, your man, your children. You know, I defend the nation and I say I'm nation first, and I'll explain why. I'm nation first because family is my first nation. There's nothing bigger than my family. And the definition of nation, when you put it in perspective, means family. So I cannot damage my family. I can't damage the mothers of my family, my sisters. If I call you my sister, it's because you're in my nation, which makes you my sister, because you're part of my family. And we need to take that serious thought process and a serious approach before we even go any further to even so much as cuss them out. Take that into consideration. And that's on both sides. How much does your family mean to you? My family means enough to me that I would not put or harm a hair on any woman in my family's head. But that empowers me not to do it on the outside of it either. As brothers, we are charged with leading by example. By any and all means necessary, we are to lead by example. And that example has been so tarnished over the years that it's up to us to take a nice healthy coat of brass and polish it and refine ourselves to understand and comprehend the fact that, hey, beating your woman is wrong. Cursing her out is wrong, even if she makes you mad. But guess what? I'll flip the coin. Her cursing you out is just as wrong. Her degrading you and demoralizing you is just as wrong. Okay? So how about this? How about we be big boys and girls and not hurt each other? Because these hits are turning into murders now. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And I want to thank each and every one of y'all. And before I let you go, I got to go to my co-host and ask them, are there any questions do you have of the guests that's on the channel right now, as well as people that's listening on Facebook and YouTube? If you have any questions, go on and post your questions. We got less than 7 minutes left.
Brother Hightower, I don't have any questions, but Brother Amun, I do agree. We have to polish ourselves as men, and I've said this before. The Black community cannot come together and start to love themselves properly until the men step into the place that they need to be.
Sure.
I also think, and just personal opinion here, the idea of stopping the domestic violence, verbally or physically, between man and woman, whichever way it goes, has to stop altogether, because you are setting the seeds in your children to carry that same stuff to the next generation. And until that is the generational curse has been broken, it cannot stop. So as men, we set the precedent, but as women, y'all set the precedent for us to men set the precedent, but women set the precedent as to what the home shall be. So we as together have to come together, and we have to stop it amongst ourselves so it doesn't proceed on to the next generation.
Ashe.
I agree with you on that. Brother Kyles.
Man, I don't have anything to say. Everyone has said everything. Man, everybody said everything well. So thank y'all for being on and getting the word out for our people, because I see it a lot. I mean, there's so many people getting hurt from this violence in the home, and people always in the kids. So thank y'all for what y'all doing to help our people out. Thank you so much.
And I want to tell you, thank you so much, really, sincerely, because Brother Rashawn hit me up last night. And once he hit me up, I said, man, we do need to talk about this. And I thought about Brother Amon. I said, man, Brother Rashawn, I know it got to be some other women, some other organization that we can bring on to get this word out. So we was able to do this less than 24 hours to pull together this show. So I want to thank you all for taking that time, as well as just supporting, because it's for the people. So thank you all so much. Until then, you all, thank you for tuning to the Real Man Talk Show. We air every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Please join us next Wednesday, because next Wednesday we're going to be talking self-defense and gun talk. And I will actually have a black owner in regards to a gun dealer who will actually be on the show talking about how he got in to be a gun dealer. So please join us next Wednesday at 8 p.m. on the Real Man Talk. Go to the YouTube channel and like and subscribe. And once again, thank you all for joining the Real Man Talk, where we talk about problems and solutions. Until then, you all have a good week. Be safe, and peace and blessings.
Blessings.
Bye-bye. Night.